Makhachev is so good. He's so good that he head kicked Alexander Volkanovski in the rematch. He submits everybody. He submitted Dustin Poirier. He's a monster. When he gets guys on the ground, he just crushes them. Islam Makhachev is huge. How he makes 155 is, I don't understand it. Every time I stand next to him, like, how are you 155?
How much do you think he walks around?
He's got to be 190-ish. He's not a 155-pound man. It's just so silly.
Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena is expected to be held at the UFC 322 fight card, and the fans can't wait for it. While everyone is looking for a close fight, Islam Makhachev is training hard to get the job done with ease, and his intense training has even caught the eyes of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is impressed by Islam Makhachev's size and training, calling him a physically imposing presence. He often mentions how surprised he is that Islam can even make the 155-pound limit given his thick frame and broad back. Rogan highlights Islam's strength in grappling, noting how he uses his power and leverage to dominate opponents on the ground.
He's big, dude.
Yeah.
When I interview him in the cage afterwards, I'm always like, how?
Really?
How are you 155?
Yeah.
How?
I know.
How?
I know.
He's thick as he's got a giant back.
Yeah.
And when he gets a hold of guys, it's like he's just got this leverage, this grappling squeeze that it's... I remember when he fought Drew Dober, and like when he got Dober down to the ground, I was like, that's a wrap.
Joe Rogan praised the evolution of Islam Makhachev's striking, calling it a real threat rather than just a setup for his wrestling. He highlighted the head kick knockout of Alexander Volkanovski as proof of Islam's high fight IQ and well-rounded game. Rogan added that he wouldn't have recommended Volk take the rematch on short notice, saying Islam is simply too sharp and dangerous to face without a full camp.
His striking is much, much better than it was when he was younger. He's a threat everywhere. Like when he knocked out Volk with that high kick.
Yeah,
and
that was
crazy. But granted, if I was in Volk's corner, I would say, no.
I know.
You're not taking it. You've been drinking beer and eating kebabs. Like there's no way you're taking this fight on 10 days notice. I don't care how confident you are. I don't care how much you like fighting. That's a crazy thing. I don't care how much money they're paying you. Because you look at the slide that his career took, right? He arguably won that first fight with Islam. Very close fight, loses a decision. Or was it a draw?
It was a decision. Was it a draw? That's actually a good question.
Daniel Cormier also believes Islam Makhachev's striking is underrated. He noted that Islam dominated Dustin Poirier in a mostly stand-up fight, winning all 5 rounds before the submission, yet people still gave Dustin credit. Cormier said Islam's dominance gets overlooked because he makes it look easy. He also thinks the real challenges now lie at welterweight, where Islam won't be facing undersized opponents.
Islam. He's a much better striker than people give him credit for. He won all the rounds against Dustin Poirier in a fight that was pretty much all striking. Everybody's like, well, Dustin Poirier fought him so well, but he didn't. It was literally 5 rounds to 0 and he got submitted.
It's almost like Poirier got his licks, but he got dominated.
He got beat because Islam's been so good, people judge him differently. I think there are way more interesting fights for him at 170 because of the size difference than there is at 155. Because right now, when was the last time he had to finish someone? He finished Charles for the belt.
Volk.
He fought Volk. That was close. Didn't finish him. And the second time
Volk.
he finished Volk.
Second time, finished Moicano.
Finished Moicano. Finished Dustin Poirier. He beats them all because they're too small.
However, Philip Rowe favors Jack Della Maddalena over Islam Makhachev, saying Islam doesn't have the size to compete at welterweight. He believes Jack would be able to get back up from takedowns and wear Islam down with his power. Rowe sees Jack eventually finishing the fight.
Philip Rowe, what's cracking, man?
Chilling.
Hey, now listen, you're welterweight. You've been in the game a long time. Islam moving up to 170. Is he big enough for 170?
My personal opinion, I don't think he is, but he's a champ. We'll see when he's there. You know what I'm saying? He has a fight. He's fighting the champ. That's the best 170 in the world right now, right? So we'll see.
So you don't think he has the size, but how do you think he does in the fight versus JDM?
I personally think JDM beats him. I think JDM will be able to get up if he does take him down. I don't think he'll be able to take JDM shots. I think personally he'll stop Islam.
Robert Whitaker also believes Jack Della Maddalena can beat Islam Makhachev due to his size, frame, and underrated jiu-jitsu. He said Jack is difficult to hold down and could give Islam trouble. Whitaker also pointed out Jack's sharp hands and body shots, adding that targeting the body could make it harder for Islam to shoot for takedowns.
Why does JDM beat Islam in your opinion?
I can see the fight playing out very much like it did with Volk, but Jack's bigger. He's got a different frame. He's a hard dude to try and hold down. I think his jiu-jitsu is very underrated. He has good jiu-jitsu.
Who'll give him?
Not to mention, Jack has really good hand. If he can work the body, which makes it harder to shoot on, to give Islam trouble.
Similarly, Israel Adesanya predicted that Jack Della Maddalena would finish Islam Makhachev. He said Islam wouldn't be able to handle Jack's scrambles or recoveries once he got back to his feet. Adesanya expressed full confidence in Jack and said he plans to attend the fight in person.
Della versus Islam.
Della is going to get it done. Islam would feel like he bit off more than he could chew once he gets in there with him, because his scrambles are crazy, and I feel he's going to knock him out, because I just think he's not going to be able to hand with him on the scrambles, or when he gets back up, I really think he's going to get him, and I can't wait till that happens.
Meanwhile, Luke Rockhold sees Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena as a tough, exciting matchup. He named Islam, Topuria, and JDM as his current UFC favorites. While he respects Jack's wrestling, he says Islam's lifelong grappling gives him the edge. Rockhold notes JDM's size could pose problems depending on how Islam handles welterweight. Having trained with Islam, he says the size gain is noticeable, and he's curious how it plays out.
Do you see him beating JDM to win that welterweight title?
That's a tough fight. That's a very tough fight. It's going to be interesting. You know, I think those are my three favorite fighters in the UFC right now. We go Islam, Topuria, and JDM. JDM's he's fun to watch. So, I mean, that's going to be a great fight. You know, he's no slouch at wrestling, but you have a guy that's wrestled his whole life and grappled his whole life versus JDM, who's kind of like, he's secondary on that, but, you know, you never know. He's a bigger guy. So, you know, we'll see how Islam, how he bulks up and how he looks. He looks a lot bigger than what I remember. I used to train with him forever. So, I mean, he's definitely grown, and, you know, we'll see how he carries the weight.
Moreover, Dustin Poirier said the outcome of Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena depends on the early rounds. If Islam gets the takedown, he sees Islam winning, but if Jack stops it, Dustin believes Jack's boxing and physicality could give Islam big trouble. He added that Islam's striking may look awkward, but it's effective because opponents hesitate due to the constant takedown threat.
Do you think he beats Jack Della Maddalena?
I think we'll find out first, second round how much trouble he has getting him down. I think if he gets those takedowns, he's gonna get the win. If Jack can stop those takedowns, which he does have good takedown defense, I think the boxing and the size could wear on Islam and give him some problems. But his striking's, you know, awkward and different. You have to worry so much about the takedown. You can't plant your feet and throw off those number combinations and really rip and sit on your punches, because he's going to change levels. So it changes the way you fight. Well, for me, it did. I'm speaking from experience. So we'll see how Jack approaches and how Jack executes out there. But if you're worried about takedowns, you know, your shots are different. You're not sitting on everything and standing in front of the guy. You're trying to move and be light on your feet. I think the first 2 rounds will tell us how this fight's gonna go.
Dustin Poirier explained that Islam Makhachev is physically built for welterweight, calling him a naturally big fighter who could thrive in the higher division. He said he's curious to see how Islam matches up with someone like Jack Della Maddalena, and believes the early exchanges, especially how Jack handles the takedowns, will set the tone.
Speaking of Islam, what's your thoughts on him moving up to welterweight?
He's a big guy. I think he's gonna fill into that weight. He's a really big 155er. So I think his lifestyle outside of training camp is going to be a little more comfortable, and he'll fill into that weight class, no problem. He could be champion there for sure.
How do you think he does against JDM?
I think the beginning of the fight's going to tell the story, like how well JDM does at getting up, how well JDM does at keeping Islam off of his feet, off of his legs, off of the cage. It's tough to call that because JDM's a big guy, athletic. I'm excited about that. A lot of fun fights in the future.
Former welterweight champ Bilal Muhammad picks Islam Makhachev to win by using his wrestling to control Jack Della Maddalena. He praises Islam's discipline and ability to stick to a game plan, something Bilal admits he struggled with in their fight. While he felt he won 3 rounds, he realized it wasn't clear enough. Bilal explains that during striking exchanges, it's easy to drift from the plan, but every fight teaches you something new.
How do you think Islam versus JDM goes down?
Honestly, I think Islam probably take it down. Like, Islam's wrestling really good. Like, even with me, I like really commit to it, I took it down. Their team's so good at like hacking in a game plan and sticking to it.
You said that you kind of abandoned the game plan a little. Do you think if you got a rematch, you would change the game plan a bit?
No, I mean, honestly, I think I won three rounds, but you have to go out there and make it more clear. When you get into the cage and you're fighting, right, you get into that, oh, like, all right, I feel like striking. Let's keep going. I was doing well with it. Let's keep going. If your coach is trying to get you to focus on the game plan again, it's like, man, I'm doing well with it. You're thinking you're doing better than you are. Every fight, you gain something from it, right?
Meanwhile, Merab Dvalishvili's coach, John Wood, shares his thoughts on a potential clash between Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev. He finds the matchup intriguing, especially with Jack already having experience against similar styles. Wood sees Jack holding an edge in striking, but says the key to the fight is whether he can stop Islam's takedowns.
I like it. I think that's a great fight. I feel like if Jack can keep building upon what he did in his, in against Bilal, I mean, he's seen that style now from a champion, and it's very similar to what Islam's going to do. I think Islam does it a little bit better. So as long as Jack is improving and getting better and his confidence is there, it's very interesting. I feel like on the feet, I think Jack's got him on the feet. It's just that obviously if that takedown defense can hold up, that's the thing.
John Wood admits it's tough to bet against Islam Makhachev at this point. He explains that until someone truly figures him out, Islam remains the clear favorite. Wood notes that Islam's striking blends well with his grappling and helps set up his takedowns. While he sees a few gaps in Islam's game, he points out that no one has been able to fully exploit them yet. He thinks Jack Della Maddalena could pose problems if he cracks that code, but for now he wouldn't go against Islam.
Obviously everybody is like, it's one of those things where you can't bet against Islam at this point in time until you see a chink in the armor. It's like betting against Merab. You could do it. It's not a smart bet, but until someone figures out that puzzle, I don't know. Islam is a different kind of cat on the ground, and his striking is not bad. He's going to come at you and get you to strike, and eventually, take a shot. There are some holes in his game and holes in the entries, and obviously, being Team Khabib, there are definitely some things that you can expose to get that win. And if Jack figures that out, I think it'd be the long night for Islam. But again, I wouldn't bet against Islam until I see somebody kind of break that code.
Jorge Masvidal also gave his take on the matchup and leaned toward Islam Makhachev. He acknowledged Jack Della Maddalena's sharp striking and solid takedown defense against Bilal Muhammad, but believes Islam's wrestling is on a different level. Masvidal thinks Jack might land the better shots early, but expects Islam's pressure and grappling to wear him down as the fight progresses.
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is though, Jack is special. We're gonna see just how special he is if he beats Islam Jack, #1 pound for. Wow, that's impressive. I'm leaning towards Islam, brother.
Oh really?
But I really think it's gonna be a tough fight for him, but a great fight, man.
Jack was able to defend takedown attempts by Bilal.
Bilal has the best cardio in MMA, but Bilal doesn't have Islam's technique. Not same technique. Not same. Very good, very aggressive. Bilal never stops a dog. Attack. But Islam is like smart, man. Boom. Islam's level of wrestling is above. His stand-up game is improving. I don't think he could go stand-up in the beginning with Jack. Jack has way better hands, way better range, faster, stronger. But as the rounds go on later and later, he could do it.
Famous analyst Luke Thomas praised Jack Della Maddalena's striking, especially against a tough opponent like Bilal Muhammad, but noted defensive gaps and risky takedown attempts that could cost him against Islam Makhachev. He said Islam's clean, mistake-free style and strong control make him a serious challenge for Jack.
You knew the striking prowess of JDM, if he could just have enough time to get it going, would be enough. I think Muhammad somewhat overperformed relative to expectations, but in the end, JDM was better. But the defensive lapses, to me, I know we have to focus on like how good JDM is as a striker, but What could have cost him here was the incompleteness of his defense. And to me, he took a quantum leap forward today in showing how good that was. Now, again, trying to turn that defense into offense by trying to go for some of those ill-advised takedowns, especially in the 5th, and then you're getting kind of lateral dropped for it. You do that against Islam, and I think that's a huge mistake. Islam just doesn't make a lot of mistakes, right? He doesn't necessarily have, at times, always the flashiest offense. I mean, he does have very good offense. We're talking about the pound-for-pound #1 guy in the sport. But what really defines him is that he makes very, very good decisions.
Luke Thomas discussed Islam Makhachev's potential move to welterweight to face Jack Della Maddalena, saying it doesn't rule out a future showdown with Ilia Topuria at lightweight. He explained that even if Islam loses a close fight at 170, he could still return to 155 and take on Topuria later. Thomas is excited about Islam stepping up in weight, especially if he plans to stay there for the long term. He also said Islam has earned the chance to chase double champ status, pointing to his willingness to take big risks, like giving Alexander Volkanovski 2 title shots.
Just because you're going to get, it looks like, Makhachev and JDM next, doesn't mean you actually can't get Makhachev and Ilya at some point. It could be he goes up against JDM and maybe he doesn't get his ass kicked, but maybe he just kind of loses and you're like, oh, all right. Then you go back to 55 and you can see what's up after that. So it's not even a case that you can't get it. But my point is, Islam at 170, if he gives us 3 or maybe even 4 of those, is a treat as far as I'm concerned. Like him vying for double champ status, he's earned it. He gave Volkanovski 2 cracks. He accepted one of those on short notice, and I know it was like shorter notice for Volkanovski, but nevertheless, accepting to fight Alexander Volkanovski on very, very short notice is still risky no matter who you are and no matter how much prep. And he gave him both of those. He did one of those fights in Volkanovski's home country. He's earned it. He's earned it. He's absolutely earned it.
UFC middleweight Jack Hermanson says it's hard to predict how a fighter will perform when moving up in weight. He sees Islam Makhachev as nearly unbeatable at lightweight and possibly the pound-for-pound best right now. While he's unsure how Islam will look at welterweight, Hermanson still leans toward him winning. He admits Jack Della Maddalena looks strong against Bilal, but believes Islam is simply on a different level.
Yeah, it's so hard because you never know when people are changing weight classes. But in lightweight, Islam looks like unbeatable. It's just like maybe the pound for pound best. It's just so insanely good. But can he do it in a weight class above? I'm not sure. Really, really hard to predict a fight like that. I think I still have to say Islam.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. We need to see a few more fights with Jack. It looked amazing against Bilal, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's something about Islam is just so good.
However, Sean O'Malley called Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight an exciting shift and said the size difference with Jack Della Maddalena might not be as big as people think. He believes Islam's elite skill set could make up for any physical gaps. O'Malley also finds the idea of Jack stuffing takedowns and pressuring Islam intriguing, but warns that Islam's striking, often overlooked, could be a key factor in how the fight plays out.
How do you think Islam does at welterweight?
Who knows? I heard he's not going to be any smaller than Jack come fight night. 55 to 70, that's a little bit different than 35 to 45, 45 to 55. But when your skill level's that high as Islam's is, it'll be interesting if he goes in there and tries to shoot on Jack. Jack stuffs him and gets in his face. But Islam's striking is so underrated. Islam could put the hands on Jack too.
UFC bantamweight Mario Bautista is backing Jack Della Maddalena to defeat Islam Makhachev. He points to Jack's solid takedown defense and ability to avoid being held down as key factors. Bautista also sees Jack as the more dangerous striker and believes that if Jack can keep the fight standing, he has a real shot at pulling off the win.
I'm gonna go with JDM on that one. I think he's really hard to hold down. Bilal got him down a few times, but he was able to get back up. And then JDM just has great striking. I think he's better than Islam in the striking department. So if he can keep it standing and just kind of make it similar to how he fought Bilal, I think he can get a win over Islam.
Middleweight fighter Mansour Abdulmalik confidently picked Islam Makhachev to win. While he respected Jack Della Maddalena's performance against Belal Muhammad, he noted that Belal didn't lean on his wrestling, something Islam will absolutely bring, along with sharp striking. Mansour praised Islam's discipline and ability to adapt mid-fight, calling it the mindset of a true champion. He's fully convinced that Islam will show up, execute, and get the job done.
Islam for sure. Jack's fight with Belal was amazing. It was an amazing fight. And we saw that Belal didn't use his wrestling that much, but Islam will. I mean, you can't just say that he's going to use the wrestling and that's just going to be the end all be all. Islam has good striking as well. In addition to that, his ability to stick to the game plan and adapt in the heat of the moment. Championship material right there. Championship IQ, championship focus. He's going to come in there and he's going to win. I feel it, I know it, and I trust it.
So this is all we have from today's video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts and predictions about this fight in the comments section, and subscribe to our channel to get more updates about this highly anticipated encounter.